In this video, we are going to have a look at the Weeylite RB08P, which is a very compact and very affordable LED light with built-in rechargeable battery. Kia ora, good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a look at another lighting product. This is the Weeylite RB08P LED light panel. If you have not heard of the brand name Weeylite before, to be honest, I haven't heard of them before until they contacted me a couple months ago. But they told me they are actually the same company that create the Viltrox products. I think a lot of you guys probably a lot more familiar with Viltrox, which has been around for a long time. They create a lot of different camera accessories, especially lens adapter, and recently they also start making different camera lens for different mount, the Sony E-mount, the Fuji, and also Nikon Z. And I have reviewed the Viltrox 20mm f1.8 lens for the Z-mount a little while ago. I put a link somewhere here, so check out that review if you haven't checked it out yet. And today we are going to have a look at the RGB LED light. If you're wondering what is a RGB LED light, basically most of the LED light you can buy in the market, they are just the white light. So some of them you can choose between a cool white light or switch to a warmer white light, but they are all pretty much white color. With the RGB LED light, you can change the light color to red or green or blue, that's why RGB, or any color using a combination of this RGB light. So pretty much any color you can think of, you can set the light to output that exact color. This RB08P light is a pretty small LED light panel. It's smaller than most of the smartphones that we are using today. The light has a pretty solid metal construction. When you hold it in the hand, it doesn't really feel heavy, but it definitely feels very solid. At the back of the light here, there is an OLED panel. The OLED display is very bright and it displays all the important information. For example, the battery, the mode that you are selecting, and also like the power output or the car temperature, etc. Depends on what mode you are using. But the resolution of the display is not very high. And also I think, not sure if it's because of the font or the font size or font weight that they choose, the text and number that render on the screen is not particularly nice or smooth. It doesn't actually affect the operation, and I can still read everything very easily and very clearly. But I do think if they choose a different font or different font weight, then the text rendered on the screen would look a lot nicer. If you look at the front panel is covered by some kind of like a diffuser material, so that helps to diffuse the light a little bit, and because of that, the light actually doesn't come with any extra diffuser that you can clip onto it. And if you look a little bit closer, you can see that half of the LED light on the light panel is the white color one, and then half of them are the RGB light panel. Depends on what lighting mode you choose, you will either see the white LED turned on or the RGB LED light turned on. Look at the side of the LED light, then you can see 5 buttons here. The top button is used to turn on and turn off the LED light. When you turn it on, then the rear display will also turn on as well. And the second button is to toggle between the different lighting modes. There are a total of 8 different lighting modes, from the very basic, just the white light, to the color light that you can choose what color you like, or there are some different effects. So you can easily toggle between all the different lighting modes to find the lighting effect that you want. And the third button is to change the settings. So depends on what lighting mode you're in. For example, if you are in mode 1, which just output a basic continuous white light, then you can switch between adjusting the power or adjust the color temperature. And then the last 2 buttons are for you to change the actual setting. For example, if you set it to the power, then you can press the button to make the light brighter, or the other button to turn the light dimmer. when you're changing the power of the light, you can change from 10% all the way to 100% in 1% increment. So that is very good if you want to have very precise control of how bright the light is. But on the other hand, if you want to quickly change, for example, from the dimmest to the brightness, you do have to hold down the button for quite a while because it only increases by like 1%, 1%, 1%, all the way from 10 to 100. I would prefer if there's a way for me to adjust the power by like say 10% increment so that I can quickly change from the dimmer setting to the brighter setting. But otherwise, all the controls are actually pretty easy. You don't even need to look at the menu. I definitely didn't look at the menu. Just pick up the light and I'm pretty sure within 20-30 seconds you should be able to figure out how to operate the light, how to change between different lighting mode or change all the settings. It's very easy. Oh, I do have another little complaint or suggestion is that because there are 5 different buttons on the side, if you are using the light after dark and you cannot actually see the label here, then because all the buttons, they feel exactly the same and there are 5 of them, so it may be slightly tricky for you to actually figure out which button is which one. I would definitely prefer if there is maybe like a backlight or something on the buttons so that you can see which button is which button when you are using the light in very dark condition. But then think again, this is a very affordable LED light which only costs around $50 US. So maybe I'm asking a little bit too much to have a backlit button on the LED light panel. There's a screw hole at the bottom and also on the side of the light panel, so you can either use the included hot shoe mount and you can just screw it onto the mounting hole here, and then you can attach it onto the hot shoe on your camera. And I really like the fact that there's a mounting hole at the bottom and the side because it just gives you more flexibility on how you want to mount or what orientation you want to mount the light. And then there's a micro USB port at the top of the light, so you can use the included micro USB cable to charge the battery of this LED light. Personally, I would definitely prefer if the USB port used the USB-C instead of the micro USB, but that is just my personal opinion. Drop a comment below if you also agree with me and prefer to see the USB-C, or on the other hand, if you actually prefer to use the micro USB. Also drop a comment below because I'm quite interested to see whether people actually prefer the newer USB-C or still prefer the more traditional micro USB when it comes to charging USB devices. One thing that I'm a bit disappointed is that the USB port, you can only use it to charge the built-in rechargeable battery. You cannot use it to reverse charge another USB device. In other words, you cannot use it as a USB power bank, which I thought would be really cool if you can do that, because then I can use it as a very nice, very compact USB power bank, which can also be doubled as a very powerful, very bright LED light. But anyway, talk about using this as a LED light. I was actually quite surprised by how bright this LED light is. It's not the brightest LED light that I have ever used, but it is quite a compact LED light that I can easily fit into my pocket, and especially when you are using it in the white color mode, the light is definitely bright enough for most normal usage, no matter you're doing some vlogging or documentary, or use it to bright up a medium-sized scene at night. If you turn it to the RGB mode, the maximum brightness is definitely not as bright as if you turn it into the white color mode, but that is pretty much the case for pretty much all the RGB LED light in the market. In terms of the battery life, I did a test that I fully charged the battery of this LED light, and I set the light to mode 1 and I set the car temperature to 5500 K and also set the power to 100%. So I believe that is the closest setting to get the maximum brightness. The light continued running in full power for about 65 minutes or so. Then it automatically switched to a power saving mode because the battery level is starting to drop quite a bit, and you can see that the light would start throttle the power output from 100% slowly down to 90, 80, 70%. So if you are running the light at the full brightness, you can get a little bit over 1 hour of full brightness usage. and then the light can continue running for another 15 minutes or so. So I think that is pretty impressive for a light that is quite compact and only has a 3000 milliamp hour battery. And in terms of temperature, when I was doing the previous test, I was doing it inside this room and it was quite a warm day. It's not really hot, and the room temperature was about 25 degrees Celsius. And after running continuously at full power for about 60-65 minutes, the temperature reaches 44 degrees Celsius. Definitely it heat up quite a bit, but you can still touch it and even hold it if you want to. And after 65 minutes, because the light starting to throttle the power as the battery is about to go flat, then the temperature start to drop back to 30 degrees Celsius. So I guess unless you want to use the light continuously on the super hot day under the sun, otherwise you shouldn't have overheating problem with this Weeylite RB08P.
Speaking of the power saving mode, because it would gradually lower the output power of the light. So if you're recording video and not aware that the power saving mode has been triggered, it may mess up your video because your light is getting dimmer and dimmer. So I would really want to have an option to disable the power saving mode if that's what I wanted.
Overall, I think this Weeylite RB08P is quite a nice little LED light. It's not perfect. I've mentioned in this video there are things that I think they can improve, and there are features that I wish to see but is missing from this light. But consider the price of this light is only around $50 US. I feel like it's something that I can recommend to you guys if you want to have a basic RGB light that is compact and not too expensive, and also you don't need any of the fancy feature. But if you don't need the RGB lighting effect, then there are some other product that is cheaper and probably brighter in the market. For example, Viltrox themselves, I think they have the normal version of RB08, which doesn't have the RGB, which is quite a bit cheaper and also brighter than this light. So yeah, it really depends. If you want the RGB lighting effect, which is quite cool, you can create some really nice lighting effect, then this is quite a nice product. Oh, forgot to say that I should have said that in the beginning. A quick disclaimer, Weeylite, they did send me this light for me to do this review, but they didn't pay me anything, and they also didn't request me to do a positive review of the product. So what I said in this review are all my honest opinion and thoughts about this product after using it for a while. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.